I am welcome to my channel. I am Time. I unfold into two dimensions: science which explain how the universe works, and the spirituality which explain why. Today we journey into the science of time, tracing the rise of the element that shaped the life on earth, that is oxygen. The breath of time. How earth learned to breathe. The breath of time. We all have to breathe, right? It is the one thing we do constantly without even thinking about. 17,000 times a day, and each one of those breaths is filled with the gas that power our very existence, oxygen. The as usual suspect the real most valuable player. Yes, our forests are vital. They contribute about 20% of our oxygen. But the true powerhouse, unsung heroes of our atmosphere, is not land at all. It is the ocean. Meet phytoplankton. These are not plants. They are tiny single-celled organisms, mostly invisible, drifting in the sunlight zone of the sea, but their numbers are astronomical. Together, these microscopic droplets are responsible for up to 80% of oxygen we breathe. Take 5 breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Up to 4 of those come from these invisible ocean droplets. But this is just a current chapter. To understand the whole story, we have to go back in time, the way back. The ancient poisonous world. For the first half of the earth history, the air was utterly unbreathable for us. This was the Archean Io. Before 2.5 years ago, our planet was a stark alien landscape. The atmosphere was toxic cocktail of the volcanic gases, thick with the carbon dioxide, methane, and ammonia, but free oxygen. There was essentially zero. Life extended, but it was microscopic and anaerobic. It thrived in an oxygen-free world. In fact, for this early life form, the oxygen was a deadly poison. The oceans were also different, rich in dissolved iron that could only exist because there was no oxygen to rust it. How do we know this? A key clue is locked in an ancient rock, a specific sulfur isotopic signal called MIF. Yes, this signal can only form in an atmosphere without an ozone layer, an atmosphere without oxygen. It definitive fingerprint of an anoxic world. The Great Oxidation Event, a biological catastrophe. The evolution began with a microscopic innovation, oxygenic photosynthesis. A group of microscope called cyanobacteria evolved a super power using sunlight to split water molecules. Their waste product is oxygen. But the rise of oxygen was not instant. For millions of years, the earth itself fought back. The planet was a vast and chemical sink. The oxygen produced cyanobacteria was immediate mopped up special by dissolved iron in the ocean. The reaction created massive rusted layer on the seafloor that we see today as a beautiful banded iron formation. Then around 2.4 billion years ago the sinks began to fill up. The iron rusted out and oxygen finally broken free into the atmosphere. This was the great oxidation event for us. It was a miracle for the ancient anaerobic life. It was the world's first and perhaps greatest massive extinctions. Oxygen was a corrosive, DNA stranding poison. Life adapted and died. Anaerobic retreated to oxygen free refuges. Other evolved biochemical defenses. The enzyme like superoxide dismutase that we still carry in our cell today. But this crisis also created an opportunities. Aerobic respiration using oxygen for energy. Incredibly efficient. It yields up to 10 times more energy than an aerobic process. This new power source could eventually make a complex life possible. The great oxidation event was not the end of the story. The oxidation happened in slowly, uneven step over billions of years. After the great oxidation event, levels stabilized for a long, quiet period. Then around 800 to 540 billion years ago, the neo-protogenic oxygenation events occurred. The second major rise broadly coincident with the snowfall, earth glaciation, and crucially the diversification of the first complex eukaryotic life, the ancestor of all animals. Finally, around 450 to 350 million years ago, the Paleogenic oxidation event took place. This was driven by new evolution, the rise of plant and land. Their root broken down rocks releases nutrients like fueled ocean life, and their remains were buried, locking away carbon and releasing more oxygen. This finally oxygenated the deep ocean and created the world we would recognize. The twist comes. Dark oxygen. So the story was clear: sunlight drive photosynthesis which makes oxygen which allow complex life. It's beautiful, logical chain. But in 2024 the story was turned on its head. The scientist in the abyssal plan 5 kilometers down in total darkness made a baffling discovery. The oxygen leveling very rising. There was no sunlight, no photosynthesis. So where it comes from? The source was dark oxygen. It turned out the sea floors lifted with metallic lumps called polymetallic nodules. These nodules act like a natural batteries, creating a weak electrical current, and this current is strong enough to do what cyanobacteria do: split water molecule through a process called electrolysis. The implications, rewrite history, and research for life. This changes everything. It means that on the ancient anoxic earth there could be have been isolated deep sea oxygen oasis long before the cyanobacteria even ever evolved. This abiotic oxidation could have allowed the first aerobic life form to evolve in the dark, deep ocean, preparing the ground for the photosynthesis to come. And the implications are cosmic. If oxygen can be produced abiotically and seafloor in totally darkness without any life at all, then we have to rethink where we might find the habitable worlds. I see many like Europia and Enceladus have a dark surfaces ocean. Could they do have seafloor with metallic nodules creating a pocket of oxygen? The search of life behind the earth just got a lot more interesting. Conclusion outro. So the air we breathe in is the product of 2.5 billion year epoch. So the air you breathe is the product of 2.5 billion year epoch. The story of microbial innovation, planetary chemistry, catastrophic extinctions, and evolutionary trump, and its story that still being written both in the ancient rock beneath our feet and in the dark, silent depth of our ocean. The grand narrative of our planet. This is the story of the very element that give us life, and the powerful reminder us the deepest truth are often hidden in the plain sight or in complete darkness. If you found this journey through the time fascinating, make sure to subscribe to I Am Time. Hit the bell button so you don't miss next exploration. Thank you for watching. Until next time, breathe deep and think about the incredible history in every breath.